Right. Hello. Welcome to my channel. It's good to have you here. I'm laid down. I'm going to talk to you now about what was I going to say? Right, okay. Yes, I remember. So we was talking about traveling. We're traveling. We're traveling. Right. So, on this note, I will show you an understanding of how occultism is merged with a religious underpinning, and then how the religious underpinning of occultism is kind of mixed in with the ideas of religion. And this is kind of like the baseline. This is the baseline for everything. I'm not joking. I just see that. And I also see it in the Muslim doctrine as well. Hang on. I don't know if I'm allowed to play music, so I'll pause it. I don't want to get in trouble. But anyway, where was I? Where am I? We're traveling, right? So, understanding occult topics and how they all merge together with religion, because they do. And over time, occult topics have all merged together and made religions, right? So there's been some really big ones, which would be in the middle concept, but then there's also fractions off, but they all come back together again. So I really want to talk about how they all interlink, because they do. I mean, you can see that. You can see names that are dropped in all of them that are similar correspondence to each other. So let's get into this a second, that it all interlinks on itself. And, you can sort of underpin this through your own spaces, your own understandings through this concept. So, I want to start off with the Muslim religion, and I'm not going to go into the Quran or anything like that. I'm just going to talk about the symbols. Okay, so there's a stone. I think there's like a couple of stones, and they've been removed, and I think that's in the center, and they walk around it. I don't know what it's called, but they walk around that in a concept of understanding a Gabriella stone. Now, the Gabriella stone, I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a couple, and there's circles, and then there's it's almost like, I can see it, but I can't explain it, but there's like a couple of stones, holes where the stones should be, and there's like an original plaque. I don't know whether it's on there, but it's almost like you can see where the stones have been pulled out. And they say it's like a Gabriella stone, I think, as well, and it's black. So I don't know what colour it's going to be. I think it's green. It might be green. And the reason why I say this is because they hide it. They blacked it out. And then there's another plaque, and it's like it's meant to have stones in it, and it's been taken out. So I think I'm just going to go there, right, to connect the Judea and to connect the Muslim religion together. Because the stone's been removed, it's really hard to define, but I think there were jewels in there. I think there were gems. And I think that they had similar colours to this. And I think the long one, there's a long one there, and I think it might be in green. Okay? And I think that the others may have equated to these colours. And I'm just going to say that. I know it's not there anymore. They're not on there anymore. But it's almost like I can see myself putting them on there. And then the colours at the bottom. And I could just see myself, I don't know, it's weird. It's like I have this intuitive feeling that the holes were actually had gems in them, jewels, and it was a link, and I think it was an offshoot. The Muslim tradition is an offshoot of this Kabbalah in a Jewish concept. And, I'm not like a MA in religion or anything like that, but I'm just trying to put it to you like how I might see this. Because, I have a 2.5 from a Occult moon, and it's a Gabriella. Okay, so this is how I can conjoin it, because it's Jewish as well. So this is, astrology is Jewish. It's a Jewish underpinning. So this is kind of like how I can understand this, and like help this, like make this make sense for you guys. Because with that underpinning, it can sort of make sense, maybe the lines or the spheres, okay? Because some of them are lines on the Muslim one, the stones. Some of them are like thick jewels, and they're lines like this, like a long oblong shape. And then there's some that are just circles, and you can see on this stone, this clay tablet type thing. And then there's just one stone, I think it's Gabriella stone, and it's hidden in darkness. And I think it's an aspect of protection. And I think that's why they did it. So that's how I think that they interlink. I think this is interlinked. The Judea is interlinked with the Quran. The Muslim symbols. Okay. So to underpin like a Royal Archangel Gabriella, and to be the symbol of a green sphere, that's quite low on the tree. But this also, I've heard it underpicks a field concept, so it might be orange. Who knows? Because it kind of makes sense that it's green to me. And it's because I was so fixated on the green for like 2 years. And I was just like, Royal Archangel Gabriella is green, it's green, it's green, it's green. And I just kept getting that. So like, this was kind of like how I came to my conclusions. And I didn't really know much about anything else, because I didn't come from a religious underpinning. I don't come from a religious background. I don't come from that. I did study. I studied bits. And when I first recognised that the Muslim and the Jewish were connected, I noticed that they were connected straight away when I was looking at it in GCSE religion. And I was just like, well, they're both are similar. And they were just telling us how similar it was. And I was like, they're connected. Like, they're definitely similar. And I just didn't understand why they weren't together, because there were so many similarities with both of them as an overarching underpinning, not under the Bibles or the Quran or this Torah or anything like that. It's not mine, but just to underpin it as that. It's not anybody's, okay? We don't embody that Bible into us, okay? Understand that. I know they want us to, but we're not supposed to, okay? As a Royal Archangel Gabriella, we're not supposed to underpin that as in our energy field, okay? We have to remove that from our bodies, okay? It is not ours. And this is really important for like anyone who is sort of reading into that. It's just sort of take it with a grain of salt and let it go. Okay, take, what you might learn from that, but don't embody it. Okay, because you are your own body. Okay, and this is really important going into the age of Aquarius. Okay, and I think some other angels do say this as well. Okay, make it very clear that we don't embody that, because that's not who we are. Okay, so what else was I gonna say? So the other similarities would be like wearing hair wraps and covering the head. And I also understand aspects of covering their body. And the reason why I do think that they do that is to protect themselves. Okay? And I also think that it's because their culture is based on occult topics. It's very deep in the occults. Okay? So it's very deep in the occults. This is why it goes to those lengths of covering. This is an underpinning of it. In our culture, we seem, no offense, but in the Western world, we are more uneducated about occult topics. And, when you understand that words are spells and things like this is how we can sort of maybe fall easier. So we're not acquired with the knowledge of an occult life, rituals, spells, things like this. And this is also how the Jewish and the Muslim tradition can sort of entwine, because they understand that there is a spiritual significance at play on this plane, and it's deeper than a mental or, well, it's physical, but that's a ritualistic perspective, but it's a spiritual one too. And then let's add in understanding aspects of the programs that have been created on this plane too. I think that this has already always been, and I think this is kind of like what I'm trying to come across when I bring aspects of awareness into programs and spiritual matters. I do think that they are aware of this, and it's very significant. And I think some people can see this within the Western world. And so let's get back to the Eastern and the Judea and the Muslim traditions. They will cover themselves because they understand that they need to protect themselves, and they're usually the women. And the reason why is because women are more vulnerable, okay? And I think the children are covered as well. The girls are covered as well. And there's a reason. It's because it's an aspect of protection on a spiritual realm, and it's to protect them, preserve them, and it's honourable for women to do this. And it's because they're protecting themselves, okay? So you might see in our culture that the girls might not tend to cover themselves, but in theirs they do. And I think it has a lot to do with obviously protecting them from any predators, but I do think it's more of a spiritual connotation, because spirituality. So let's get into hair, blood, things like this, because this is all an occult topic, okay? This is underpinning occult phenomena, okay? So if somebody was to take your lock of hair, what would they do with it, okay? If someone was to take a piece of your blood, what would they do with it, okay? So this is also underpinning aspects of occult phenomena, okay? So if somebody wouldn't ask for you for that, in their culture, because they already know that it's a ritualistic concept of removal, okay? And this is also another underpinning of how people can be ritualized, okay? And it can be done in many ways in our culture, okay? So this is also, in their culture, would be defined as possible witchcraft and, things like this. So we have to really now understand what is taking place, because, like I said, let's go back to the Western culture. They don't acknowledge this type of occult phenomena. they don't want to acknowledge this type of occult phenomena. And there's reasons why. And it's because I don't think they are more in the know. And as the cultures start merging in diversity, you will understand more so what is actually taking place with these people who are having their hairs removed, their blood taken, who's taking this, what is actually going on. Okay, this is a cult phenomena, and it should be recognized in the criminal justice system as well, in the Western world, what is actually taking place. Okay, because women, men, there's not an aspect of protection that takes place here when this happens. Okay, and it's very serious that when you take something like this, is an aspect of our DNA, and this can also interlink back into how the Eastern countries wouldn't do this. Okay, and if they did, it would be an aspect of underpinning witchery, occult, and it's almost like we need to kind of get with it, because the Eastern countries are merging with the Western cultures again. And it's really about distinguishing the types of occult phenomena that can merge with our societies once again. The ones that we thought we had rid of 100 years ago. And it's because as time goes by, the Western cultures, outside, I don't know how it's going to come out, but within the West, it's more of a creational space. And the East is more, it's almost like it creates spaces. So it starts from the West. And I understand how this has taken place, just through understanding witchery, occult topics, and just understanding the phenomena of like a Muslim tradition and a Judea tradition. This is the significance of how we are still understanding the realms and realities, how we can make the Judea make sense. I don't know. The Kabbalah, yes, makes sense. Okay, so this is how we can kind of make this make sense with understanding that there is still a significance for this to play out our roles in society and what it means. And it might even just be on a programmable state, it might be on a chakra point state, it might just be on a something that you can pick anything from this. Ask me questions if you want to in the comments, and I can sort of like bring it to you and see how I can sort of like underpin certain things for you through this concept, because this is how it works. And so yeah, I do think that the Muslim tradition and the stones concept, I think that has something to do with this. I think that might have been the beginning of this, and I think this is kind of like the what they came from understanding the Muslim tradition, what they can come from understanding it in this position. So it was almost like an evolution of the Muslim tradition. I just want to say that, like, and it's only in my own opinion, because I can't find what stones were in the plaque in the Muslim on the plaque of where the Muslim one was, where the stones were. But it just looks awfully familiar to this, and I just think that there might be an answer there for that. And I just think that there's a truth that can come from this. Okay, so this is kind of like my underpinning of this, what it means. Okay, so if you like my content, like and subscribe, and there'll be more. Take care.